today. So today is graphing by hand, okay? Graphing, quadratics by hand. And this is an important skill even for next year. You will do many more, many different types of functions, not just quadratics, but I will make sure you ace linear and quadratic, okay? You should be confident next year at least. When graphing a quadratic equation, and it could be y is equal or f of x is equal, right? Enter it into y1 and use second trace to determine the characteristics or properties of the parabola. And parabola is the name of the graph resulting from a quadratic equation, okay? So if you have a quadratic equation and you want to graph it, it's going to be a horseshoe, and that shape and that graph is specifically referred to as a parabola, okay? So it shouldn't scare you. So let's do a couple. Negative 2x squared plus 10x minus 12. And I'm going to just, in general, just have points, width, vertex, min or max. And you don't have to memorize these. The order may vary. I will usually ask for them or have a slot on the assessment where you ask to fill this in. So you don't have to worry about like which ones are they, right? You don't have to worry about that. Y-intercept. And X-intercept, it's always going to have the S there because there could be more than one. Okay. And for now, we're also going to have, I'm going to provide you with a window, what window did I use to come up to actually be able to see this graph. And I will make a note here. Write keystrokes when using the TI-84. Okay. So the idea is, and I will hone in on the following. Okay, these are, I'm doing a very comprehensive walk through this time, but the most important points for you are would be vertex, X-intercept, and Y-intercept. Like if you have those, you can make a pretty good graph. Okay. If you find the vertex and the intercepts, so it used to be the intercepts, right, for linear. Now we want the intercepts as well as the vertex because this parabola changes paths at one point, right? The rest is just, you still need to know it, but for graphing, if I were just to ask you to graph, you want to levitate around these here, okay? Points up, sorry, down, right? This is going to be pointing down because A is negative. So I just need you to already kind of imagine what this is going to look like. The width is going to be narrow, right? Narrow because A is greater than 1. The vertex we're going to find now. So here's where you need to watch me do 1 or 2 examples, okay? You're going to have to use the calculator, and because we know, right, we know that this is going to be pointing down, so I'm going to do this for you here. Because of that, I know that I'm going to have a max, right? Just because I know that it's pointing down, there's going to be a maximum here. So I'm going to use second trace max, right, to get the vertex. So it's either going to be second trace min or second trace max. But if you pick the wrong one, you're not going to get the right answer. Okay? So here we go. Let's type in that equation into our calculator. So let's go to y equals. I'm going to clear everything I have in there. So it's negative 2x squared plus 10x minus 12. Okay. And by the way, if you have the calculator, if you get an equation that looks ugly and you're like, I have no idea how to do this, just type it in exactly the way it is into your y1 and let it do the job for you. Okay, it's a tool, so it does. Because of the calculator, we can give you ugly stuff here. Okay, so let's hit graph. Oh, and there it showed up, right? Just barely. So I'm going to go zoom 6. I'm going to reset my window. So zoom 6 does that for me. And I can see, if you're careful, you can see that it's just coming over the x-axis if you look carefully. Let's say you did not see it clearly. You can't really tell. It's there but not. So here I'm going to introduce you a new feature. Okay, it's called the zoom feature. Has different zooms. Okay, so press zoom and we're going to zoom in. Second option here, zoom in, hit enter, and now you got to tell the calculator where you want to zoom into. So I'm going to kind of just go sideways and kind of say that I want to zoom into that area right there. Okay, and then you hit enter, and now you can see, you should be seeing this. And if you're still not happy, you can, I think you can keep hitting enter, or no? Yes, yeah, so that's pretty cool. So I'm learning too sometimes, right? So you can keep hitting enter. That's a new thing that wasn't like that with the old ones. And if you don't like it, no, what did I do? Zoom 6, right? Zoom 6 gets you back to negative 10, 10, negative 10, 10, right? And then you can try it again. Zoom in, right? I'm going to go here and hit enter, and there it is, okay? Now let's find the vertex. Is everybody in here seeing? Are you able to see the vertex, like where it changes paths? You can see the peak. If you're not seeing it, let me know. I hope at home you're seeing the peak here, because that's important. You need to see that in order for you to find the vertex. So now that we see it, we'll second trace. We're going to go max, right? Maximum. So I'm going to press 4. And here you have to be careful. Just basically follow the guidelines here. What did you do to change the zoom? I went to zoom and then selected the second option, which says zoom in, and then you just move your cursor over to this area and hit enter. Okay. So it says left boundary. It says what's the left boundary? So you're basically going to give it two boundaries on the left and on the right, and the calculator is going to find it between the boundaries. So if this is your vertex, you're going to move your cursor to the left. Just go past it a little bit. Once you start going down, you are definitely to the left of it. Then you hit enter. See, there's a line now. Right? That's the left boundary, and now it's asking for right boundary. So you're going to go over to the right and hit enter again. And now you've said, hey, calculator, it's between here and here. Okay, and now when it says guess, I told you hit enter every time. And there it is. 2.49, which is right 99. So that rounds to 2.5. And my y value is 0.5. So you've just found the vertex of this parabola. Just like that. Okay. And the vertex gives us the answer to the min and max. We know that there's a max, only one of them, right? You can't have, and that would just be the y value there. Axis of symmetry is the vertical line that splits it in half, which goes through the vertex at 2.5. And now we're going to find the x-intercepts. And I will first type down the keystrokes, okay? I'm going to say y2 is equal to 0, just like we did before. Second, trace 5, right? I'm letting y2 equal to 0, then I'm going to go second, trace, intersect. That's what 5 stands for. And let's go ahead and do that. You don't have to tell me that you're going to do this 2 times, because you're going to have to do this 2 times. So go to y equals, make y2 equal to 0, hit equal, graph, sorry. Then you're going to go, you got to be careful here, second, trace 5, right? Now you're going to go to the first one you'd like to find. I want the one on the left. That's close enough. So you hit enter, and usually it follows you on the red line. So it will usually be enter, enter, enter after that, okay? Enter, enter one more time, and you found that that first x-intercept is 2, 0. So where I'm on the wrong page here. So this is 2, 0. And let's find the second one. You have to go second, trace 5 again, and go closer to the other one, and watch, you just hit enter, and then it's there already, right? Enter, enter. So that's 3, 0. So you found both x-intercepts. Okay. Y-intercept, it's in standard form. Well, you can't see that, right? It's in standard form, so technically you can just go 0, negative 12, right? It's 0, negative 12. No keystrokes needed, or you can go second, trace 1, let x equal to 0, and you should get the negative 12 as your y-intercept. And the reason I'm telling you this is because not always will you have it in standard form, in which case you need to resort to this. Okay? So let's go ahead and just practice that. Second, trace 1, x is equal to 0. Can't see it. That's another reason I want you to do it. Right? It says error, can't do it. So I'm going to press 2, go to, because it usually tells me, yeah, it says, okay, I can't see that point that you're trying to find. So I know that my y-axis is here. So I'm just going to go to my window setting and reduce the x-min. Window, x-min, I'm going to change that to -5, something like that. Hit graph. And so I'm good now with the x-min, but I need to also bring this lower down. So I'm going to have to change my y-min. So window, y-min is, I'm going to go -15 because I know, in this case, I know that it's about -12. So you're going to have to play around with it sometimes, right? So there it is. Let's try it again now. Second, trace 1, x is equal to 0, and there you have it, y is equal to -12. So you have to be comfortable with both methods. Okay, and for domain, it's just all real numbers, or -infinity to +infinity, whichever works for you. In this case, it's pointing down, so y is going to be less than or equal to, where's the vertex? It's right here. And squiggly brackets, it's a must, or -infinity to 0.5 included. Let's go to our window. I'm just going to copy down the values approximately. So I went -5, and I went -15 to 2.5. And again, this window is not right or wrong. It's just, if you go back, how did we see it again, right? I will just make a note. You need to see the points. Okay. You need to see it to believe it. That's kind of what the calculator is telling you. I need to see it to believe it. So, right, I went through it hopefully slow enough that you could follow. And now we're going to graph it. So I know just by scanning quickly, I know that my X and like the X-intercepts and the vertex are pretty close together. The only one is the Y-intercept that goes pretty far down, right? So I'm going to make sure that my Y-axis is longer than the X-axis. And maybe even have a different scale. So make sure you don't go small on this, right? So I start with my axes. I label X and Y. If I go by ones, I'm not going to get 12 in here, right? So I'm going to go by twos. So if I go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right? That works out for me. And again, 2, 4, just one like that, labeling one up here is fine. And along the x-axis, I can use a scale of 1, no problem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to label every other one. Approximately, if you need a ruler to help you out with the spacing, do it, right? I'm going to go -4 here. So that would be a good start, right? Labels, scale. Is it a consistent scale? I'll be looking for that, right? Yep, going up by 2 constantly, going up by 2, down by 2. So that's good. There's a scale of 2 here and a scale of 1 there. All consistent, sure. And now I'm going to plot my points. The x-intercepts, I go look at them, 2, 0, 3, 0. So 1 here, 1 there. My vertex is 2.5, 0.5. So, right, this would be 1 right here. So I need to be between 0 and 1 there. That's my vertex right there. And I'm at 0, negative 12 here. And now you got to rely on your artistic side. So you start at the vertex. I'm going to go out a bit to the left and then curve down. And it helps to just take it easy at first. And then if you need to make the line a little darker, you go over it again. Right? We're looking for smooth edges. Okay, no sharp. And that's good enough there. Arrowheads on both sides. And do not forget your equation. You do not need to label the points again because you've already established your scale. The points, right, I'll be looking are the points where they're supposed to be. So just make sure those points kind of stick out, right? And then your graph is complete. Okay. So as long as you have your intercepts and the vertex, sometimes you will not have any x-intercepts, right? So you got to watch out for that. Let's try something real quick because I'm seeing it right here. Okay. If you, knowing that the parabola is symmetric, right? If you were to graph this and you know that 0, negative 12 is here, there's going to be another point here. How could you find the coordinates of that one? Well, you go to y equals, y2 is equal to negative 12. And it's going to draw a line through. Can you find that point? You can, right? Second trace 5. So that's a trick sometimes. You can go all the way up down to that point x. So that'd be 5, negative 12 if you wanted to know this point, right? I'm not going to go into much detail there. I just wanted to show you that. Okay. All right. Let's do another one. And example 2, y is equal to negative 1/3 x squared plus 5x minus 9. So I'm gonna set this up again. Points. I'm gonna ask you to tell me which way does it point. What's the width of it? It's the vertex. The axis of symmetry. What's the equation of the min or the max? X-intercepts. Y-intercept. Domain and range. So for all of the ones that I'm going to be doing with you, I'm going to basically ask you to fill out one of those. Window is optional. Right? Okay. You know what? I'm going to ask you to try this on your own. See if you're just making sure everybody's on the same page, and maybe you'll notice something else yet. I wish I would have had one where this had been a positive, because then you have to use second trace min. But I think you'll get the point, right? So this is going down because A is negative. This, just looking at the value, it is a wide because A is between 0 and 1, right? So that's 0.33. So that's between 0 and 1. It's going to be wide. To get the vertex, it's second trace. No, sorry. It's not second trace 5. I'm getting it all mixed up. But it is Friday, so that happens on Fridays. All right. I'll show you first, right, how I type this in. Okay. Oops. What's happening there? Okay, clear. There. No. Try it again. So this would be, I'm already going to type in 0 for y2. And there, this is still my graph from before. So if you want to reset, you can go zoom 6. And I notice that everything seems to be good except for my X max here. I have to increase that. So I'm going to go to Window, increase the X max to, I'm going to triple it. And there it is. To get the max, I got to go second trace 4 for max. I'm going to go to the left of the vertex, hit enter. Go to the right of the vertex, hit enter. Enter again. So it's 7.5, 9.75. Always rounding to 2 decimals, okay? Nearest hundredths. So I have to go 4 here. And the answer is 7.50, 9.75. Axis of symmetry is just 7.5. There's a max here again. Y is equal to 9.75. X-intercept, I'm going to already type in my keystrokes. Second trace 5. Right? I'm going to go to the left, enter, enter, enter. That's 2.090. Okay? That's the first one. Second one, second trace 5. I'm going to go to the other side. Enter, enter, enter. That is 12.910. Okay? 908. The 8 bumps the 0 to a 1. Okay? Y-intercept, I'm just going to use the shortcut because it's in standard form. And you can actually see it on my screen though. It wouldn't be a big deal finding it there. because we're running out of time, I'm just going to do this. My range is going down, right? The parabola is opening down, so it would be less than 9.75 or negative infinity to 9.75. Make sure you're familiar with this, right? Practice that with the other questions that I'm about to give you. I'm not going to graph it. I will show you on Monday how the graph would look like. For now, I want you to, that package with all the handouts, I want you to work on this one here. Okay, graphing quadratic equations worksheet. So that's the one I'm going to write down on your homework here. Graphing quadratic equations worksheet. Okay, and I'm going to hold off on the key until Monday. Okay, so for now, just do it. Do your best. You know what? I have the key. I will put it out there anyways. So if you want to look at it, look at it. If you don't, then just stay away from it, right? You choose. Other than that, one more